What's up, guys? I want to talk about the upcoming Atlanta race. And this isn't something I normally do or plan to do, but for this particular race, because of the new aero package and all the expectations and criticisms that people have had, including myself, you guys know I am not a fan of this aero package and the whole direction that NASCAR seems to be pushing. I guess they feel that keeping these cars packed up together is automatically excitement. Creates excitement. I disagree, but I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna get. I'm just most of what I've talked about is just what I'm afraid is gonna happen. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but from everything we've seen, I am very skeptical. That being said, I think you guys may be surprised about my prediction for this race. I believe that this race in Atlanta this weekend is going to be a really good race. In fact, it may end up being a great race. Now, I think it's important, and this is why I'm doing the video, not just to make a prediction, but I think it's important to, understand why it might be a great race. And the reason I'm also doing it is, in a way, a warning to people not to let this one race let you get carried away to the point where you start thinking that this aero package is the answer to everything. So I do think this race is going to end up being a great race, or at least a really solid race. But I am concerned, and I also predict that after this race, you're going to see a lot of people raving about it, and they're going to come out the same way I say, like last with the All-Star race last year, when they did this package and all these people were on all over the place celebrating and screaming and, oh, we need this everywhere every week. And I definitely wasn't one of those people, but I think the same thing's going to happen this weekend. Now, that's what I think. I think it's going to be a really good race. Now I'm going to explain why. When I think of Atlanta, the first thing that comes to mind to me is tire wear. This track, it does wear out the tires a lot more than other tracks. The track itself is very weathered. It has a lot of character. If there are a lot of grooves that you really can't see with the naked eye, but as a driver you feel it. And if these guys hit the wrong spot on the track, the car will get squirrely and want to wash up the track. So tire wear is going to be very important. Even in practice and the qualifying sessions, you could see these cars. Yes, they were able to pretty much go wide open throttle, but remember, this was only a couple of laps, and they weren't, it wasn't 40 cars on the track. It was like more or less single car runs. But even then, even being able to do that, you saw a lot of moments where the car was always on an edge, on a razor's edge. Any little thing could upset the car. You see a lot of times these guys, they'll miss their mark, or they think they hit it and the car gets really, just gets squirrely. And they got to let off the gas a little bit. A couple of cars went, where they get the left side tires just below the apron line. You saw that a couple times, and as soon as that happened, you see these cars, they get really upset, and the drivers had to let off the gas. So I think that's going to actually help the racing. I think that's going to provide an atmosphere for great racing because uh, I don't. I can almost guarantee you're not going to see guys running wide open after 5 or 6 laps. You know, at best 7 or 8 laps. There's no way these guys are going to run beyond that point, wide open throttle, lap after lap. It's not going to happen. So the aero package is still a mystery, and we're all going to tune in and watch, and we're all like wondering what we're going to see. Now here's the warning. I do think we're going to see a great race because of the tire wear, because I don't think these cars are going to be able to run wide open for more than a couple of laps after taking on tires. And you're not going to have side by side all day. It's just impossible. That in itself is pretty much a perfect storm, right? So you got this aero package, you got the tire wear, you got the track itself with all the bumps and the grooves and stuff like that makes the track very finicky. When you combine all that together, I do think handling is going to play a huge factor in the race, and I don't see these cars in a pack for long periods of time. I'd be shocked to see that here in this particular track. Now I know a lot of people think that mile and a halves, or as they call them, cookie cutter tracks, they're all the same. They're not all the same. They all have their own individual feel and characteristics. I do happen to like these mile and a half tracks. I know a lot of people don't. I love them. Doesn't mean we always get great racing, but that's another thing that I've talked about, and it's really the aero dependency of these cars. And I do think that this package is just headed in the wrong direction. But for this particular week, at this particular track, I do think we're going to get a pretty good race to a great race. So I am expecting an exciting race, and I do think that a lot of people are going to like it. But it's because of the things I just talked about. And that's where really the warning comes in. Because I don't want people, at least I want you to keep in mind, I can't stop people from feeling this way, but you watch. People are going to come out of this saying NASCAR had it right. This aero package is the savior, and they're going to, the same thing we saw last year after the All-Star race. All these people excited and saying we need this every week. And I think that's the danger here. So that's why I wanted to make this prediction. It's not something I do all the time, and I'm not going to be doing this every week or anything like that. But because this is the first official race with this aero package and everybody is curious to see what's going to happen, that's why I'm talking about it. And I do expect a really good race. And watching these cars in practice and this qualifying session, I could tell that there's no way these cars are going to be running wide open after maybe 6, 7, 8 laps at best. And then you're in a pack of cars side by side. These guys are going to have to be letting off the gas. There's just no way this is going to happen here. It might happen at other tracks, but Atlanta's different. And when I think of Atlanta, as I said before, I think of tire wear. That's the first thing that really comes to mind. So I do expect a really good race. I probably won't be able to even watch the race till I get home late Sunday night because I work Sunday afternoons, and sometimes I have to wait to get home and watch the race. But let's see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong about my predictions, but I have a feeling like that's what's going to happen. I do expect a really good race. I think it's a perfect storm of things. I don't think people should look at this race as a sign of the future. I think this is a one-off deal. It's just, like I said, a perfect storm of things where you have everything come together And I do think it's going to provide a really great race. You might even see some cars that you're not used to seeing, be more competitive. I think it's a combination of things, but most importantly, it really is the track itself and the tire wear and all these other things where you really can't run long periods of time wide open. So yes, they'll be able to do it, on fresh tires, but that's not going to last. So those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree with me? I am looking forward to this race, and I would be surprised if it turns out to be a dull race, or even if it turns out to be what I've been talking about, this aero package. I don't think that really is going to take place this week. And I do think that people are going to walk away from this and they're going to act as if this is going to be the case everywhere. I don't, that's what I want people to keep in mind. It's really this particular track, and it's the tire wear and the worn track conditions. All of that is what's going to contribute to what I think will be an exciting race. So, what do you guys think? I'll probably talk about the race Monday or whenever I get a chance. I'm sure everyone else will be talking about it right off the bat, right after the race. So, as always, I'll be late to the party, but let's see what happens. Maybe it'll turn out like I think it will. Maybe it won't. But I would be surprised if it's not a really good race. Let's see what happens. I'll see you guys around. Let me know. I look forward to your comments. Let me know what you think.